Hey friends, hope you're all having a good day today. It's Mother's Day as I'm recording it, so I hope you all have a happy Mother's Day, and go call your mom if she's still alive. Tell her you love her. Anyway, with that being said, today's video is actually not too far off from the day of the year of what it is, and that is I'm going to talk about Christian dating in 2026. And I think this is an important topic to talk about because in Christian circles, there's no verse in the Bible that actually talks about dating. So we kind of have to use our own discernment and be careful to not watch out for or watch out for the pitfalls that might come up in that realm. And this topic was actually requested by a guy I know in real life. So if you're watching this, shout out to you. You know who you are. So with that being said, I'll give a little background on me. So I'm 27, I'm single, and I have been on a couple dates in the last few years since moving out to the Midwest. Although none of those dates have actually led to a long-term relationship or marriage. So what I can tell you is I can't really give advice on what works because I'm not married. So I don't think that's really in my realm of qualifications. But what I can tell you is what I have done in the past and what I think might be working and what's not working. So I guess for context, I asked out, I think, 3 or 4 women in 2025. I have not asked any out in 2026 because, long story short, I haven't met any who I would feel comfortable asking on a date because they haven't really passed through my vetting process of what would make them a good candidate for someone that I'd want to date and possibly marry. So in 2025, I asked women out in person more than online because I did have a Hinge profile that I think is still active, but I have not gone on it because I don't really want to be on dating apps right now. I just kind of have them for the sake of having them and haven't gotten around to deleting them yet. So the women I asked out were all women I asked out in person, and these were women that I met in a church small group environment. I had a couple conversations with them over the course of several weeks, and I thought we were vibing, and a lot of them actually gave what I thought were choosing signals or flirting towards me. So I saw all the green lights there that would make them someone that I'd be comfortable asking on a date. So I asked all of these women out to coffee, and I was turned down in a nice way every time. It was never a direct rejection, but it was something to the effect of, sorry, I'm busy, or I can't do that, but I can still chat with you in group. So basically a soft rejection without straight up telling me they weren't interested. And that's okay, because honestly, like, I just view it as, well, God didn't have that person in mind for me. So I found that small group environments, specifically young adult groups, they have not been the best environment to get any long-term dating relationships because all you're doing in those environments is vetting someone based on vibes and if you can have a good conversation. It doesn't allow you to see if that other person, you don't get to meet their family, you don't get to see like how they are in real life. Like, you only see them in a controlled group environment. You don't see what their relationship with God is like unless you see them reading their Bible and participating in the study. But it's basically a very controlled environment, and you kind of have to take a shot in the dark, and there's minimal vetting involved other than, hey, this person says they're a Christian and they go to a church group with me. So that didn't really work out for me. Dating apps. I was on Hinge last year, and I was on it a little bit earlier this year, but I can tell you right now that I have not had any success there, and it's not because of lack of matches. It's more because I didn't really see any long-term prospects in the women on the other profiles for Hinge. So I would see women's profiles and I would swipe no on about 90% of them, because I would get profiles that either were women that said they weren't Christian, like they didn't have anything checked off under religion, or if they were Christian, their pictures did not reflect a godly biblical lifestyle. Like, I'd see pictures of women at bars, women at clubs, women wearing provocative outfits, all while saying they're Christian. And I understand Jesus, he loves all of us, and he wants to have a relationship with every one of us, and it's not my place to judge someone for how they dress or what they look like. But as someone who is allowed to have standards when it comes to dating, I think I have every right to swipe no on a woman that does not dress in a modest way that is honoring to the Lord, in a way that meets my standards. And you can call me picky all you want, but I would rather be single than in a relationship with someone that is going to drag me away from Christ. Because I can witness to women all I want. I mean, that is what we're called to do as Christians. I love talking to unbelievers, men and women, because I want to bridge the gap and lead them closer to Christ. However, I feel as though my calling when it comes to someone that I date is someone who is on fire for Jesus and is following them before they're following a relationship. And I think in dating apps and young adult group environments, you're simply asking for, you're almost there because you're looking for a relationship more than you're looking to chase Christ. So because of that, I left the young adult group, and that was one of many reasons, not the only one, but I switched small groups because I wanted to be in an environment where there would be fewer distractions and I could focus 100% of my energy on Christ. And I have nothing against the young adult group that I was in. Like, I think it's a great environment. It just wasn't the right fit for me. So I moved on from it. And I think everyone who's in the young adult group, I wish them all the best. And there's definitely some great opportunities for spiritual growth in that environment. But God has a different plan for every person. And I think his plan for me is to be in this current small group that I'm in. So with that being said, I think dating as a Christian is something you're going to get a bunch of different answers from depending on who you ask. But my personal take on it is that dating as a Christian is something you should be very intentional about. You should make the effort to meet the other person's family, possibly even before you start dating them, so that way you can get some internal vetting done by them, especially if this person comes from a family of strong believers. Then every situation is going to be different, but if someone tells me they grew up in a Christian home, I would want to basically meet their family first and talk to their father, talk to the woman's father, and tell him that I think he's a godly man and he's raising a godly daughter, and out of respect for him and his family, I want to approach him before I begin dating his daughter. And that is the approach that I would like to do, but is not always possible. And I think doing that respects the woman's family and it puts God first. And if it's not possible to meet the woman's family because they're either not believers or they have like geographical distance between me and them, then the most comfortable way I'd be in starting a relationship would be if I were to be introduced by a trusted adult in the woman's life, like someone from the church or a close friend, because I think in that case it would be vetting from a respected adult that would have a lot more wisdom and knowledge on that woman's life than just using your own judgment, because we're all flawed human beings that need Jesus more than anything else. So with that being said, I just wanted to share my thoughts on here. I hope you all have a wonderful day. We're able to get some good information out of that video, and I'll catch you all next time. God bless.